Well, it's January the 4th. It's the start of a new year, and with it comes that perennial question. Do you have any New Year's resolutions? Labrador Morning's Geraldine hit the mall in Labrador West to find out what folks there are thinking.
Are you doing any New Year's resolutions?
No.
And if you're not doing one, why?
No, I never even thought about it.
And what's yours?
I don't know.
What are you going at?
I don't think I made one. Probably exercise more.
Yes, we need more exercise.
We can start, but it's just going to stop again, right?
Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Do I have New Year's resolutions? No, I do not have New Year's resolution.
And why is that?
I just never ever practiced that. Never ever.
What's your New Year's resolution?
To find a better paying job.
And what are your odds on that?
I'm hoping very good.
And anyone else in your family doing resolutions?
Yes, my husband's trying to get his diabetes under control better.
That's a good resolution. Yeah. What about you? What's your New Year's resolution?
To be a happier and healthier me.
And what are you going to do for that?
Started working out and eating better.
Did you get the membership yet?
I have an online one, yes. Yeah.
What's your New Year's resolution?
Just to appreciate take time to appreciate good health, family, friends, and it's not really a resolution, but that's my intent.
No, well, I saw someone earlier on a show today saying, intention is probably better than setting something unrealistic that you're not going to do.
So my intention is to take care of my health and keep active, and hopefully everybody else will have a healthy 2024.
It's great. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Those are some folks in Labrador West sharing some of their New Year's resolutions, as well as those who don't bother. Now, you've probably heard the phrase, New Year, New You, when it comes to that fresh new start, but our next guest says to think twice about that approach. Janine Hubbard is a registered psychologist based in St. John. She joins us now. Janine, good morning.
Good morning and Happy New Year.
Yes, Janine, Happy New Year. So you heard the clip, right?
Oh, I did. There's some great examples because that's pretty representative of the combination of, I'm not going to bother, some very specific goals, which are far more likely to be achieved, and some kind of vague ideas, which may be less successful, and some wonderful reflections, as opposed to a resolution. So I think they managed a beautiful cross-section of attitudes and thoughts.
Right. So what does it tell you that some people just don't bother?
Well, I think it's important to remember that this is an arbitrary date. And if we are going to make changes in our life, it needs to be at a time that works for us, where we are ready, whether it's the time that we have the emotional energy or the physical energy or the finances, whatever it might be. January 1st might not be the right date for you. There's a lot of people that talk about wanting to, say, increase their exercise. Well, Canada, and especially Labrador in January, for some, that's great because they're able to get out and enjoy some of the outdoor sports. For some, like myself, you know what? That's not the time that I'm super excited about being out walking the dog. I'll be really honest. I'd be far more likely to have success in June.
So what do you think? How much pressure do we actually face when it comes to setting new goals for ourselves at the start of this new year?
I think once upon a time there was probably a lot more pressure. I think we have a better understanding now that it has to be right for you. Some of it may depend on your social circle because one of the things that can lead to success is having a buddy or a partner. You might be working on the same goal, you might be working on different goals, but being accountable to someone can certainly increase that success. So if you're surrounded by people who all want to make some of those changes, you might feel more pressure.
I see. Okay, so Janine, let's talk about the phrase New Year, New You, because I've heard that you don't agree with this. So why does that phrase not resonate with you?
Well, a couple of of things. First of all, the current you is pretty awesome. And what you might want to look at is New Year, maybe slightly changed you or making peace with the current you. We cannot make radical changes. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that most people make is as opposed to saying, I want to tweak a few things or, I want to improve a few things in my life. They go into it with this all or nothing radical. I'm going to basically, become a person who, previously spends a lot of time on the couch or playing video games. And I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week. That's not going to happen. That's not who you are. Could you work on some goals of maybe parking at the back of the parking lot as opposed to, searching for the front spot so you get a little bit more steps in and a little bit more exercise in a day? That's totally achievable, and that's still you. And hopefully that's something that doesn't feel onerous and is something that you can keep up over time.
I see. I don't know if I want to change anymore because my wife already says that I've changed so much already.
See, if you've got people, and so the other thing is a lot of it is reflecting. Like I say, I like the idea of New Year's reflections and going, well, maybe it's not about self-improvement. Maybe I do like who I am. Let me reflect back on the past year and think, what were some things that I really enjoyed? And I'd like to make sure that I carve out time for, whether it's more family board games, whether it's more time outside, enjoying the winter weather. Maybe it's I got to know somebody a little bit better last year, and I'd really like to make the effort to continue to develop that friendship. Maybe it's I was homesick and started reading some novels and remembered just how much I enjoy reading. And I want to carve out some time this year to make sure that that's a priority for me. So sometimes it's including some of that self-care can be a really important part of keeping the same awesome you that you already are and just, tweaking things a little.
Well, Janine, what tips would you offer to really start 2024 on a positive note, like so with good mental health in mind?
Good mental health, self-care. The importance of self-care at the moment has never been more important. If you do want to make some changes, we recommend what are called SMART goals. So make it specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and something that you can track. So let's say you want to save money, but you're used to going and buying your coffee 5 days a week. You know what? Start by saying, I'm going to bring my coffee from home 1 day a week. Physically go and get the coins that represent what that coffee would look like. Put them in a jar, and after a week or two, maybe you decide I'm going to do that for 2 days a week. And then give yourself a treat with the physical earnings that you've saved. You can see them. It reminds you. It's reinforcing. And then maybe you can look at doing that, moving towards a bigger treat and just avoid the all or nothing thinking. Life is going to interfere. There are going to be days and times that you can't meet your goals, and that's usually when people give up. So remembering life happens, start again the next day if that's important to you.
Right, got it. Jenny, do you have any New Year resolutions?
Not myself, other than I think reminding myself the importance of work-life balance and carving out a little bit more time to do the things that help keep me healthy and vibrant and happy.
I see. But, Janine, our colleague Heidi Adder, the person I can see behind the glass, actually set up a couple of goals. So if you don't charge extra, if you didn't charge her, she'd like to read out some of those, and she wants to know what do you think?
I'd love to.
Okay, Janine, here we go. So it's, I have 4. Don't procrastinate on visiting the doctor/dentist. Learn new recipes from my family's culture. Floss, for real this time. Learn a new hobby and do not make it a side hustle. I don't know if those really are SMART, the acronym goals. I don't know. What do you think?
I'd start with 1.
Okay.
Start with 1, and you know what? Start with the easy one. you're going to go and book your medical appointments now for like the next however long they'll let you book them in place.
That is a good
so that
plan. Yeah, can phone the dentist the moment after the show.
Yep. And that's one where you can be accountable. Have someone tell someone, you've just told your listening audience, guess what? Have somebody ask you tomorrow, did you make those calls? The specific piece of things, I love the idea of some of the cooking. So set yourself a goal that says once a month, I'm going to try a new recipe. And hey, if you do it more than that, that's great. But set that as a goal. And I think it sounds like for you, you're someone you need to be putting it in the calendar. And again, making yourself accountable. Perhaps that's one where you've got some friends or family who are willing to try your experiments and whether they work or not. And you're going to have fun and laugh at it one way or the other. And say, I'm inviting you over for dinner on this night because I'm going to try this new recipe. You've made yourself accountable. And it's very specific. So those are the general kind of things. A new hobby can be great, but it sounds like, again, you get into some all or nothing with it. So figuring out maybe there's a class that I could take where I can learn something new, I can socialize, but it's not going to feel kind of all-encompassing or as obsessive as it might be if I was just doing it at home.
I love that. That is especially with the recipes, for instance. Rivu was literally rubbing his tummy. So I think I know one person who will try one of the recipes. But I love that, taking these general ideas and making them into actual actionable things. I'm going to literally put in my calendar to try a new recipe.
Listen, how many disastrous attempts have we made? But that's the fun and that's the story. And
it's so true.
That's the, that's the good shared laugh that comes with it. So those are all very achievable. It's just a question of how you go about setting them up for yourself.
I love this. Thank you so much for the advice.
Well, listen, I might have to call back and see how it's going and make you accountable for them.
I love it. Anytime.
Well, Janine, thank you so much. It's been a great chat.
Oh, thank you so much. And Happy New Year to all the listeners.